believe we're in Tunis. That was very quick. On every street corner in this compact city of flat roofs and spires, French is uttered or muttered about. It was a rather splendid home from home, and with some of the sensibility of my home country, but with more heat, more smoke, and more colour. Where my city is Bourguignon, this place is spice stew with different flavours and cultures swirling through its narrow alleys and tight spaces. One woman running a tea stall in Medina refused to serve me because of my accent, while another dropped her price on hearing it. I attempted conversation with the latter, but found her command of French was rather more limited than her interest had been. I indicated that we were going east, and the Francophile lady was keen to direct my attention southwards, upwards to a smudge on the slopes of the nearby Atlas Mountains. I peered through the dim moonlight and made out a dark shape descending through the clouds and dropping a tow line. Airships, she declared with a wide grin that suggested that it was one of her new words of French. Where did they go? I asked, but she only smiled, clearly not understanding. The city was changing its allegiances and its language, but it seemed that she herself was being left behind. I found Monsieur Fogg in steadfast conversation. Michel Ardan had found him once more. I sat with them, the better to serve my master his tea, of course, and overhear their conversation, which was most entertaining and concerned Monsieur Ardan's remarkable plans for an excursion to the moon. It seemed he intended to build a larger cannon this time, with several metric tons of explosive beneath the conical capsule. When I expressed disbelief, he only shrugged. And who will go with you? I asked, hoping my master was not committed to this scheme. An American fellow by the name of Barbicane. There is a little-known town on the southeast coast of America called Miami. We have an arrangement with the incumbent there. That will be our launch site. We spent a few more hours discussing rocket specifications as the night wore on, and then we finally bid Monsieur Ardan a bon farewell. A fond farewell? Okay, so, we're in Tunis, and they're going to launch to the moon from Miami. So, I now have a much more interesting mission than just getting around the world in 80 days. That is where I'm going to go. Okay, we're not going to Helsinki, clearly. Valuable in Dubai, Alexandria, and Hayil. What's this worth? We're not going to Berlin either. Okay, let's do that. I've got to try and make money somewhere. A bolt of silk, that will do. If we can get to Dubai, Alexandria, or Hayil, that would be good. Okay, let us just depart to Luxor. Sure, let's go. Why not? The Ottoman Gaic airship. And the airship we found was truly grand. An Ottoman Gaic, no less, decorated with bosses and painted flowers, and on its underbelly the evil eye gazing down at us as the crew hauled the ropes to put it into dock. It was somewhat bigger than Monsieur Ardan's rocket, I remarked to Monsieur Fogg, who nodded. The Ottomans are quite reliant on air travel now, he replied. It is understandable, considering how much desert they command. Was his tone somewhat scathing? I could not tell. But then, just as the ship was rising to depart, we were abruptly caught, as though the tow rope had been snagged. I peered out of the nearest porthole in time to see a gold-painted carriage pull up, drawn by 3 large steam horses, a sign of great wealth here, on the edge of the desert. The great machines hissed in the sunshine as their occupants disembarked. They clambered aboard, and then the ropes were loosed once more, and in a few minutes later we were drifting quietly up into the clouds. Let's look after Fogg a bit. He's losing health quite rapidly, with a rather violent journey. Passepartout, my master declared, the service aboard this vessel is most disappointing. See to its improvement. I rose giddily from my seat and swayed between the low table set out on the rear deck of the swaying ship. I found the forward galley cabin, where 3 attendants were rushing backwards and forwards, preparing urns of tea, laying out sweets and cakes on gold and silver platters. Is this the tea service, finally? I inquired. My master is feeling in most dire need of refreshment. Excuse me, the thin waiter muttered, as he eased me aside to reach into a low cabin. Inside was a winch. I watched as he turned it, pulling up a rope through a hole in the bottom of the cupboard, through which the outside world could be seen. After several revolutions, it came out with a bottle of Tunisian rosé, tied to the line. The bottle's surface was wet with icy cloud dew. Perfect, I exclaimed, but my enthusiasm was short-lived, as the waiter tossed an apologetic look between brows and whiskers and hurried away into the sealed forward cabin. And then, quite suddenly, I was alone. The bustling cabin crew had disappeared, and I was no tea or biscuits richer than before. I returned to Monsieur Fogg empty-handed. He looked up at me briefly. "We are too busy to serve passengers," I told him sadly, and indeed we did not receive a cup of tea that evening. Oh dear, I wasn't a very good valet there. I think we are actually making quite good progress. Bumbling? Oh, that's just rude. Tell me about it, sir. Oh, okay. Ah. Okay. So we're going to Luxor, where there are tombs, are there? My master was starting to look genuinely weakened by the lack of a decent cup of tea. The only meal had been a quick serving of spiced rice stew the night before. The conditions were more like a prison ship than a passenger airline. It would not do. I went in search of the curious passengers in the forward cabin, now that I was certain that it was them causing our upset. I began by a stealthy approach to the lower decks and the engine rooms, where I fitted in like a black cat in a room of white Labradors, wiping soot flake after soot flake from my jacket as I slipped from one uncomfortably hot corner to another, searching for a ladder upwards. Eventually I emerged into the front deck of the ship, the steaming wind buffeting my hair, tearing at my moustache. Behind me was the cabin with its mysterious occupants, its glass darkened and mirrored to prevent uncouth types from peering in. Clearly privacy was important to these passengers, whoever they might be, and no more so than when, a moment later, I felt strong hands grab my arms up behind my back, hoisting me aloft. "Who is there?" I demanded. "I was going to ask you the same thing," the voice returned, with evident seriousness. By now my heels were up and slipping on the top of the rail. Far below, fish with sharp teeth were no doubt starting to circle. "Put me down." I was about to. "But on the deck, monsieur." The guard harumphed and, praised be, lowered me sagging into the deck. "My mistress does not wish to be disturbed," he declared. "There are 2 ways to leave this deck. One is the way you came." "Who is your mistress?" "Get out of it," the guard bellowed, throwing open the hatch and dropping me down it. I scuttled off, hiding amongst the coal gas canisters to gather my wits and my usual colour. By the evening we were famished. Monsieur Fogg and I sat in silence, companions in our hunger, watching the twinkling water below us. "I can only hope," my master murmured as we began to descend, "that the next leg of our journey will prove more fruitful." Yet that did not go to plan. I'm guessing there was more story there than wasn't technically I managed to reveal. Okay. So, there's one to Manama. I took a few hours to explore, investigating the various options for how we might continue our journey. Oh, that was all there was. Very well. We arrived in Luxor and stayed the night in a hotel. Bristling were tourists, in flat Panama hats and crisp linen suits, who drank sundowners on the terrace and discussed with starry eyes the incredible sights of the day. And then, already, it was time to move on. There was no slack in our schedule to visit the tombs or even the magnificent temple whose pillars we could see in the distance above the walls of the town. The fastest way on was by airship to Manama, and Monsieur Fogg was most insistent that we take our places on board. Very well. I just checked my luggage. So where does this... Agra, Karachi and Hayil. Okay, so we've got to get to India. Let's go! Yes. So there doesn't seem to be a market in Luxor. We boarded the Osiris line from Manama. It was a comfortable enough rig, though not opulent. I would say it was a liner counterfeiting the appearance of quality, but not truly bred into it. We took seats towards the fore, where we could watch the full drama of the deserts unfolding below us. Thick mint tea was served about without the slightest delay. The ropes were loosed, and as we drifted up into the skies I relaxed. This was more the kind of travel to which we were accustomed. Hopefully I'll be less bumbling on this part of the journey. Ah, dear. I spent the first day enjoying the hospitality of the airline and gazing down at the Suez Canal as it passed beneath us. See, this is a bit better, although his health is getting way too low. I really need to get some way to look after him better. The second day on the airship was uneventful. The craft moved with almost impossible slowness, leaving passengers with a deep sense of unease, as though the slightest movement might cause the ship to fall from the sky. I attended to Monsieur Fogg, plumping his cushions, bringing him tea, and allowing him to rest. If we were to travel slowly, we may as well reap some benefit. I got talking to my neighbour, a large lady dressed in reams and reams of pearls and jewels, who called herself Shaya Sufi, and told me, in hushed tones, that she was a major trader in Dubai pearls. Is Dubai worth visiting? I asked, and she shrugged. We make good money there, but for a traveller, it is a good spot to cross the Persian Gulf to Bandar Abbas. The ship drifted on, slower than some of the clouds. Okay. There's Hayil, so I've already missed that. Okay. The airship cruised over the desert, and then the sea became visible as a thin golden ribbon of reflected sunshine. Fogg gazed down at the boats in the harbour and murmured a single word, 11. I understood his meaning completely. Hey, we've got tons of time. Let's have a look at our market. So this doesn't sell well here. I need to get to Karachi or Agra. Gone past Ridja. A natural pearl, worth a lot in Bombay. That's quite cool. I might get that actually. And that. And that. Since we're here. These are all things I can sell later if I need to. Ridja and Dubai. I think we said we might end up in Dubai. Maybe. That's fine. Okay, that'll do for now. Okay, yes. My Caribbean thing. There's Miami. Ha ha ha. I love it. I love it, I love it. Because I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, explore. Okay, so there's a route to Ridja, There's a route to Dubai, which would be good, and then there's one to Bombay. British influence over Bahrain had been cemented with the signing of the Perpetual Truce of Peace and Friendship some 20-odd years ago, which made Manama a town most congenial to Monsieur Fogg's particular tastes. I bought some Darjeeling tea from a vendor who supplied the British residents in Brochure. Monsieur Fogg showered me with appreciation, which is to say he gave me the slightest of nods. He is not a demonstrative man, but I dare say I'm growing used to it. Excellent, I am finally being an okay valet. Okay. Right, so we need to get... Okay. Dubai. A fishing boat, okay? Sure, before 8 PM. And then there's another one on to Bombay, I think? Yes. But that departs in 2 days. That departs in 3 days. Okay. Let's sleep, and then we'll go to Dubai. With what remained of the day, I afforded my master every service, providing him with a haircut. Relations with Fogg have improved slightly. Good. Yes, okay, let's go to Dubai. What? I thought this was going... Oh my god. I thought that was going today. When's this one going? Tomorrow. That's in 2 days. I thought this was going today. Ugh. What about... Where can I sell things again? Oh, I've got Darjeeling tea now. Bombay, that's worth a lot in Bombay. And that's still worth a lot in Karachi. Oh, that doesn't even work. I don't even need... Oh, this was for Dubai, I see. I'm all over the place. Okay, let us try and get to Bombay. Why not? Will they let me negotiate? Yeah, I get that, but I can't negotiate. Try this one. God, why do they charge so much? So that one goes tomorrow. Okay, we'll take that one. We'll go to Bombay. Whew. As night fell, I tended to Monsieur again. Let's make him comfortable. Let's go. Let's go to Bombay. Boom. Oh yeah. What do I not need? Probably don't need that, to be honest. Okay, let's go. Back. Excellent. Hadil. The Hadil was a steam yacht with bar-quentine sails and a compound steam engine, dwarfed by the ornate pleasure boats moored alongside her. Most private yachts were owned by wealthy merchants and the aristocracy who used them as glorified ballrooms, whereas the Hadil had worked as a whaler until recently, but she was currently loaded with Bahraini pearls and bound for the port of Bombay. Perfect. Greetings, Captain. Evening, Bombay. Passepartout. Ah, right. Where can I go in Bombay? Can I go straight to Singapore? Oh, okay. I'm doing quite well. We departed. I allowed my master to board first, as was customary, and spent the evening methodically repacking all of our clothes, a calm start to our maritime voyage. I am now zestful. Take that as you will. How great I am as a travelling partner. Today we rounded the famed Strait of Hormuz, an impossibly small channel of water linking the Persian Gulf with the open ocean. We navigated the sea lines expertly, weaving past streamers flying unfamiliar flags, and weighted down with precious cargo. I must admit, I greeted the open ocean with gratitude after the crowded strait, and was carried off to sleep to the rhythmic gurglings of the Hadil's boilers. Oh no, are we going to meet pirates? I am now slightly concerned that we won't get there. Oh, we spotted a whale, though apparently it was not a whale at all, but a dreaded sea monster which had recently eaten an entire steamer bound for Malacca, hull and all. I had not heard of such a beast, but apparently it prowled all seven seas without exception, and was impossibly fast and deadly. Ships had been going missing for years, and there was even some talk of an international expedition to hunt the creature. The crew of the Hadil, however, had no such dreams of glory. I watched for the monster's shadow for several hours, but to my misfortune, or perhaps my luck, we saw no further sign of it. That's exciting, although I really hope we don't get eaten by a giant whale. Our first glimpse of Bombay was a fluttering mass of colourful sails and gaily decorated hulls. Enormous schooners and steamships were docked in the deep water of the harbour, swarmed by little fishing vessels and sailboats. The sky was enlivened by airships in all sizes and configurations. Steam and smoke poured into the sky. Alas, I was already sweating by the time the Hadil docked. I am already excited. I've never been to India, but this looks cool already. Look at that temple.